Hi everyone, welcome or welcome back if you're new. It is Atia here at Booking It with Atia, and today we are going to get into all the books that I read over the past week. So we're looking at my weekly wrap-up number 9. This is everything I read during the week of March 25th. Right? I don't need that piece of paper. And we're just going to jump in. I thankfully did not DNF anything that week, which is great because I've been DNFing quite a few things lately, which is not, I mean, it's good because that means I'm not reading stuff that I'm bored with or uninterested in, but it was weird. It was like every wrap up I was opening up with like, here are the books I DNF'd. But in terms of what I finished 7 things last week, starting with Into the Sunken City by Dinesh Thiru. This is a new YA sci-fi book. It takes place in the future after we've had some type of climate change caused calamity where essentially it's raining all the time. There's like maybe a few handful of hours every month where it does not rain. Most of the world is underwater, and we have a teenage girl who is given, well, she is the guardian of her younger sister who's 14, and their father and them, they used to go diving for wreckage and to find different treasures that are, you know, under the water. They're in the sea, and they come across an opportunity to get this like mountain of gold from a place that is essentially in the realm of where Las Vegas is, and we follow them on that journey. I absolutely loved the character development in this. I really enjoyed the sisterly bond between our main character Jin and her sister Thara. I just found this book to be it was great. It was a great read. It keeps you reading. It's compulsive. It is action-packed. It has a lot to say about like climate change and, you know, where we could end up in how many ever years. I forget the year this takes place, whether it's like 24 or 25 something. And I did not write down the rating that I gave this book because why would I do that? So I will put it on the screen. The next book I finished was Static Up All Night by Lamar Giles. This is a YA graphic novel featuring some of our favorite superhero character from back in the day, Static Shock. So we are following Virgil as he is trying to navigate this, how do I say it? These series of events that's happening in the course of one night. He has recently been dumped by his long-term girlfriend because the girlfriend's like, I didn't sign up to be with a superhero, and he's always canceling plans, and things are just, you know, she's not happy in the relationship because he's always going off and superheroing, so he's getting over that. He and his best friend, they end up meeting up with another superhero and her friend, and they come into some tricky situations. I found this to be really fun. I love the animation style, and I kind of want more Static Shock written by Lamar Giles, and I ended up giving that one 4.5 stars. Then we have The Gardens by Tomi Adeyemi. This is one of the Amazon original short stories. This one is about a woman who travels, I forget where she travels to, but she travels there because her mother has recently passed and she didn't have the best relationship with her mother, and it was just muddled, honestly. Like the character work was subpar. I was confused for most of it, which is not cool with a short story. You have to know how to balance giving us enough of the world and the plot and context with, you know, keeping the pace. And I understood that, and I thought that it just was not executed well. And I ended up giving this one 2.75 stars. Then I ended up reading Scorpions by Rachel Halsell Hall. This is another, I read a lot of these. This is another Amazon short story collection. This is a horror novel about a girl who, she is a in-home caretaker, and so the person that she's taking care of, they pass away, and she's kind of left without a source of income. She's left without a home because she was living in the home with this person, and they leave a note for her telling her that there is this treasure that they buried back in the day, and she goes and she tries to find it out in the desert, and it is essentially a race against time because she has limited resources, limited trust, and yeah, it was pretty good. I gave it 4 stars. Then we have What the Dead Knew by Ning Vo, another Amazon short story, and this one is about a woman. She is a traveling act with this companion of hers. They end up stopping at this town, and as they're performing their like fake seance type thing, she ends up interacting with a spirit she's not supposed to, and it all goes, I guess we can say it all goes downhill from there. I love this. I loved what it had to say. I love the feminist themes. Even though it is a short story, we got so much character and so much development of the context of the story and where we land in this particular world, and I ended up giving that one 5 stars. Then another Amazon original story was Mother Swamp by Jesmyn Ward. This one is about a long line of daughters and mothers. They live out in the like bush somewhere. So this takes place during the time of chattel slavery, and where there are certain communities that are free from enslavement, and there is a community of like just men not far from them, and then just women like further down. And I really loved what this had to say about growth and love and stepping out and finding yourself, and I ended up giving that one 5 stars. Then I reread Akatawitch by Nnedi Okorafor. This is one of my favorite YA fantasy books. I forget when I first read this one and the sequel, Akata Warrior, but I never got around to reading the third book, Akata Woman, and I recently just remembered that I never got around to that. And so I was like, it's been so long, I might as well reread Akatawitch and Akata Warrior, and I was thoroughly pleased, and I'm glad that I reread it and am rereading Akata Warrior because there was so much that I forgot. And I ended up giving, I didn't even tell you what it's about. It's about Sunny. She is an albino black girl. She was raised in America for the first, I think, 9 years of her life, and then she moved back to Nigeria. She has a friend, Orlu, who, you know, he doesn't tease her or anything like that, and they become fast friends, and she ends up finding out that she is what they call a leopard person, and a leopard person is someone who is able to cast juju and do magic, and it's a whole secret society, and she can't, of course, tell her family because they are not part of this world, and there are dire consequences if she does. And she finds out that she is part of this, I guess you can say, prophecy to take care of something that is coming to their society, and she and her friends have to battle this entity. I'm trying to be vague so I don't give you too much, because I do think it is well worth the read. And I gave Akatawitch 4.25 stars. Going into the manga that I finished, those first 7 were novels, novellas, and novelettes / short stories. In terms of manga, I finished Asadora Volume 5. This is a historical sci-fi horror series. I gave Volume 5 3.25 stars. Then I finished Imakoi Now I'm in Love. So I read Volume 9. This is a contemporary romance, a YA contemporary romance series that follows one couple, and you know, we kind of gets another one, but I gave this one 5 stars. It was an excellent end to the series, and just I definitely see myself returning back to that series because it was just so wholesome. And then I also read Akane Banashi Volume 3. This is a contemporary series about a girl who wants to become a rakugo, which is what she wants to do raguko. She wants to become a ragukoka, which is a performer of the art raguko. And I gave Volume 3 3.75 stars. Then I also finished Volume 2 of Noragami Stray God, which is a fantasy series about a low-level godling who wants acclaim and everything. He ends up coming into contact with this teenage girl who her soul essentially has split. So sometimes she's in the realm of the dead and sometimes she's not. And she's like, hey, can you please help me like not jump out of my body this entire time, and we're following their adventures, and I gave that one 4 stars. Now moving on to the picture books that I finished. I read Fighting with Love, The Legacy of John Lewis. I didn't know much about John Lewis and all he did for civil rights and the nonviolent protesting, and I found this picture book to be very informational but not overwhelming, and this is definitely one that I will be adding to my personal collection, and I gave Fighting with Love 4.5 stars. Then I read Hair Oil Magic. This one shows a deep appreciation for the bond between mother and daughters and the rituals that we have, and I gave that one 4 stars. I also read My Mother's Tongues, which shows the beauty of multilingual households, and it also gives space to non-English speakers. It has a very traditional style of artwork that feels very nostalgic, and I gave My Mother's Tongues 4.5 stars. Then I read Why We Dance, which gives knowledge on the jingle dress dance and their meaning as well as their origins, which was really cool, and I ended up giving Why We Dance 4.5 stars. I also read Miles of Style, Eunice W. Johnson and the Ebony Fashion Fair. I knew next to nothing about Eunice W. Johnson, which is actually being very generous. I knew nothing about Eunice W. Johnson. I mean, I knew nothing about her. I knew nothing about Ebony's creation or the Ebony Fashion Fair, and I appreciated how much information was packed into this picture book without it feeling overwhelming or long and drawn out, and I gave Miles of Style 4.5 stars. Then we have The Ocean Gardener. This is a beautiful and simple introduction to the problem that's occurring in the coral reefs, and it makes it relatable to small children, while also in the back of the book giving resources so that children can, find their own research and also find out how they can help support the restoration of the coral reefs. And I gave The Ocean Gardener 4.5 stars. Then I read Kodubu, a silly South Indian folktale, which honestly is exactly what it sounds like. This one is super silly, fast-paced, and just a lot of fun to read and say, and I gave that one 4.5 stars. We have I Lived Inside a Whale. This one was so good. It perfectly encapsulates someone's need to simply exist in peace and quiet but can't, and it demonstrates the importance of knowing how and when to create your own sanctuary and place of peace, and I ended up giving that one a straight 5 stars. I loved the messaging, I loved the artwork, and that was good, y'all. That was good. I needed it when I read it, and I read it when I needed it. Then I read Jimmy's Rhythm and Blues, which is about the James Baldwin. This has calming artwork with gentle colors, and it shows James Baldwin's evolution as a person, a creative, and a staunch supporter of civil rights of all people, and I thought that was just absolutely incredible, and I gave it 4 stars, but now that I'm thinking about it, I think I kind of want to bump that up to 4.5 stars. That's all the books that I finished. In terms of what I made progress in, I'm still making my way through Promise by Rachel Eliza Griffiths, and you know what? I am enjoying the ride. I really am. There are just some books that they're gonna take you a long time to get through, even if they're not super long, which this book isn't, and I'm appreciating the fact that I'm just savoring these characters and savoring the writing. I also made some progress in Love Notes by Christina C. Jones, A Woman Is No Man by Ataf Rum, Akata Warrior by Nnedi Okorafor, and What the Fireflies Knew by Kai Harris. And with all of that, I read a total of 1,858 pages and listened to 9 hours and 1 minute during the week of March 25th. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, give it a huge thumbs up. Let me know, what did you read last week? What was your favorite book or your most disappointing book? What are you currently reading right now? Make sure to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and to click the notification bell so you're notified every time I release a new video. All of my socials are linked down below, as well as the links to my Amazon wish list, my Etsy shop, and my Penguin Book storefront, and I will see you in another video. Bye!
Showing, I ain't living for the moment. I see what's mine and I want it. Hungry like a Pac-Man. Bruce Wayne and Batman. I'm Naruto with a Hanzo, got a sharp mind like I'm Einstein. Plus I'm copywriting, so it's all mine. Check it for me, I'm in the sky.